The eighth week of Donald Trump's second term was a whirlwind of activity, marked by intense negotiations, political maneuvering, and the looming threat of a government shutdown. Trump found himself at the center of it all, battling to secure funding for his priorities while fending off criticism from Democrats and navigating internal divisions within his own party. Trump's immediate challenge was to avert a government shutdown. The deadline loomed, March 14th. A shutdown would have meant furloughs for federal employees and disruptions to government services. To avoid this, Trump needed to get a spending bill through Congress. This was no easy task. Trump focused his efforts on rallying Republicans in the House of Representatives. He engaged in a flurry of phone calls and meetings, working to persuade hesitant lawmakers to support his vision. The president understood that a government shutdown would be a political liability, reflecting poorly on his administration's ability to govern. He also knew that Democrats were eager to exploit any missteps for their own gain. At the heart of the budget battle was a continuing resolution, or CR. This stopgap measure would keep the government funded through September 30, 2025. While the CR prevented an immediate shutdown, it did not represent a long-term solution. Instead, it merely delayed the inevitable budget showdown until later in the year. Trump and his allies presented the CR as a victory for conservatives. They pointed to provisions within the bill that paved the way for future tax and spending cuts. Trump in particular emphasized this point, taking to his preferred platform Truth Social to rally his base. He argued that the CR, while not perfect, represented a step toward fiscal responsibility. The CR froze spending at current levels. This meant that many of Trump's key priorities, such as increased military spending and funding for the border wall, would not receive immediate increases. However, the Trump administration argued that these priorities could be addressed in future budget negotiations. They insisted that the CR provided a solid foundation for advancing their agenda. Democrats, however, were quick to criticize the Republican spending plan. They argued that it represented a betrayal of working-class Americans, disproportionately harming the most vulnerable. They pointed to cuts to domestic programs, such as education, healthcare, and environmental protection, as evidence that the Trump administration was prioritizing the wealthy at the expense of everyone else. Democratic leaders seized on the CR as a fundraising opportunity. They accused Republicans of slashing funding for vital services while simultaneously seeking to enrich the wealthy through tax cuts. They specifically targeted vulnerable Republican incumbents, using Elon Musk's role in spending cuts as a cudgel. Musk, the billionaire entrepreneur who headed Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, had become a lightning rod for criticism, with Democrats accusing him of using his position to benefit his own business interests. The uncertainty surrounding the budget created anxiety within various government agencies. Rumors swirled of potential layoffs, hiring freezes, and program cuts. The National Fire Academy, for instance, was forced to cancel classes due to funding freezes and staffing cuts, raising concerns about fire safety preparedness. The Social Security Administration faced similar challenges, with DOGE leading a controversial reorganization effort that sparked fears of benefit payment disruptions. Labor unions representing federal employees filed lawsuits, alleging that the Trump administration's cost-cutting measures were illegal and harmful to their members. Beyond the budget battle, Trump's eighth week in office was marked by a series of other notable events. He continued to reshape the federal judiciary in his image, appointing loyalists to key positions. He signed an executive order targeting Perkins Coie, the law firm that had represented Hillary Clinton's campaign during the 2016 election, revoking security clearances and federal access for its employees. This move was widely seen as an act of political retribution. Trump's foreign policy pronouncements also generated headlines. He met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, promising to work toward ending the ongoing war in the country. He also hinted at the possibility of a new nuclear deal with Iran, sending a letter to Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. These overtures, however, were tempered by Trump's continued tough talk on Russia and his decision to impose new tariffs on Canadian goods. All in all, Trump's eighth week in office was a microcosm of his presidency, a turbulent mix of legislative battles, political maneuvering, and controversial decisions. He remained a polarizing figure, adored by his supporters and loathed by his detractors. As the budget battle demonstrated, Trump was willing to use the full weight of his office to advance his agenda, even if it meant courting controversy or risking a government shutdown. Whether he could maintain this momentum and achieve his goals, however, remained an open question.